Good morning. This is my guidepost, my signpost, my thought for the day, my inspiration for the day. And it's based around a poem that I wrote in 2019 called A Call for Human Reawakening. There's a fire burning deep inside of me, a yearning and a hope to be set free. My calling and my gifts, a world with dreams to lift, for the liberation of the human race I see. There's a need for inspiration in the now, for us all to see the why, the where, the how, for those who have been crushed, to be enabled and not hushed, for the fields of desperation to be ploughed. New vigour and new life are found as we restore once fallowed ground and bring new confidence and more certainty and sense, and to make our dreams come true and for love to abound. So the challenge comes to you. Will you live a life that's true to the passion in your heart today? Will you no longer go astray and be determined to find a way for the many's talent to be seen, not just the few? So it's a real challenge for me and for anybody reading the poem or watching this now to say, are we doing quite enough? Last night I was talking on Facebook Live saying how wonderful it is to shine your light, especially in a dark time like this, because everybody can see you. So why not call for human reawakening? Instead of just going into humdrum and TikTok every day, decide, look, I've got gifts, I've got talents. Yes, there are reasons why I shouldn't use my gifts and talents. I don't want to put my head above the parapet because it might be shot at. But there's such a desperate need in our world for people to show kindness, to show love, to be on their A game, to do a really the best that they can do. You can only ever do your best. It doesn't matter whether you succeed, really, it doesn't, as long as you've done your best. Now, if you know when you put your head on the pillow tonight, I did all that I could do today to make the world a better place, to make the lives of those around me and my own life a better life to be lived in. If I did everything that I could today and it wasn't good enough, it doesn't matter, as long as you've done all that you can. There's no one can ask more of you than that. And there's a great quote, isn't there, about demand more of yourself than anyone else ever would dare to do. Well, why not do that today? Say, I want to use my gifts. I want to be the wise steward who, with all the talents and gifts and graces that I've been given in my life, that I am someone who always does their best. And if you can put your head on the pillow tonight and say, yeah, I did my best. It might not have been good enough, but I did my best. You couldn't have asked any more of me. That's all I'm capable of. It's the best that I can offer to the world. And like the poem says, there's a fire burning. You've heard it. Did you hear the crackle and the roar of the fire just then? As I'm pleading with everyone here who's watching, either now live or whether they're watching later, I'd really love you to be able to give your best today. Just imagine what the world would be like if everyone took it upon themselves today to be the best them that they could be. Do you think the world would improve? I know it would. So there's a yearning, a hope to be set free, not for me. Of course, I want to be set free from all the things that pull me back, but also for the whole world to be set free, for all the love that's stored within our hearts to be let out into the stratosphere like a giant volcano. Every single one, love, love, love everywhere. Wouldn't it be great? So you sound very utopian, Andrew. I know. I can't help it. That's just the way that I am on the inside. Let's all be kind and loving towards each other, rather than scheming and all those other negative things that you can think of, you know, inducing fear amongst people with your words and with your actions. Don't do that. Be one of the good guys. So my calling and gifts, a world with dreams to lift for the liberation of the human race. I see it's a high calling, isn't it, to want to be someone who makes things better in the world. My dad was told by his father, I never met my grandfather, he died in 1938, try to leave the world a better place than the way that you found it. It must have been like modern, like a modern meme in the 1930s. Lots of other people have said it, but I know my dad quoted my granddad as having said it. And at my dad's funeral, someone who wouldn't have known about that conversation said to me, your dad left the world a better place than it was when he got here. And I think that was the most beautiful thing, you know, that my dad could have ever heard at his own funeral, if he'd have known that was going to be said, not publicly, it was just said to me, but if he'd have known he had that accolade, he'd have thought, yeah, Dad, I did my best. And that's what you've got to do and what I've got to do. We've all been given gifts and graces and talents and abilities, and we all need to use them. There is a need for inspiration in the now, for us all to see the why and the where and the how. We need to see that need. You can't meet a need that you can't see. So once you've seen the need, then meet it in whatever way you can. If it's just helping an old lady off the bus, if that's all it is, you know, it's something to make the world a better place for you to be able to put your head on that pillow tonight and know that you've done a good job, that you've been a blessing rather than a curse to those around you. For those who've been crushed, to be enabled and not hushed, for the fields of desperation to be ploughed. This is what it's all about, to lift people up, you know, bear one another's burdens. Don't put more burdens on people's backs. Those people who've been crushed by what the world throws at them need to be enabled, because those are the best people. You know, have you ever noticed that the kindest people in the world are usually the ones, if you sit down long enough and talk to them about their past, they've had some horrible things happen to them. That's why they're being kind, because they're aware that there might be other people out there with the same kind of problems going off in their lives right now. They want to lift those. So you don't tell people to sit down and shut up when they're in pain. You listen to them and you help them for the fields of desperation to be ploughed. Let's start growing a good crop, a crop of kindness and of love. New vigor and new life are found as we restore one's fallowed ground and bring new confidence, more certainty and sense. Isn't it a sensible thing to make people content with their lives, to help people to have a good life? Isn't that the most sensible thing to do? And will that not bring confidence into people's hearts and lives? Will they not also go on from being lifted to lift others? Don't you think? Don't you see it? It's so obvious to me. To make our dreams come true and to let love abound. So the challenge comes to you. Will you live a life that's true to the passion in your heart today? Will you no longer go astray and be determined to find a way for the many talents to be seen, not just for the few? That means that not only have you got to use your talents, you've got to encourage other people. When you see somebody do something or say something that is beautiful, tell them that was great what you just did. That was lovely what you just said then. You're such a kind person. You're such a loving person. I really appreciate you. Isn't it easy just to say those words? And they lift people, and they're going to go and do some more of that stuff that you've just acknowledged in them, because they will identify with the statement that was made about them. Unfortunately, when somebody says something negative about us, they may only say it once, and then we repeat it to ourselves over and over and over again. And we make ourselves out to be something not very good indeed. And yet when people say kind things to us, oh, well, you're just saying that. So if somebody says something kind to you, something loving and true about you, take it on board. Just say thank you. That was really lovely for you to say that to me. I'll hold that in my heart. That really has made a difference in my life. Thank you. Rather than, oh, you're just saying that. Okay, I'm going to read my poem again, and I'm going to end the broadcast. But thank you for joining me, and have a great day. And I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock with my Zoom. I'll probably broadcast it into Facebook again as well. A call for human reawakening. There's a fire burning deep inside of me, a yearning and a hope to be set free. My calling and my gifts, a world with dreams to lift, for the liberation of the human race I see. There's a need for inspiration in the now, for us all to see the why, the where, the how, for those who have been crushed to be enabled and not hushed, for the fields of desperation to be ploughed. New vigour and new life are found as we restore once fallowed ground and bring new confidence, more certainty and sense, and to make our dreams come true and for love to abound. So the challenge comes to you. Will you live a life that's true to the passion in your heart today? Will you no longer go astray and be determined to find a way for the many talents to be seen, not just the few? Namaste.